Yesterday, Mike Hill, the director of athletics for Charlotte 49ers, announced the official appointment of Fern as the 14th head coach in Charlotte men's basketball history. Fern had been serving as interim head coach since 2023, and he gets elevated to permanent full-time. Would we like to, first we will begin with comments from Hill, followed by Coach Fern.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. This is a really happy day and a happy moment for our program. What we've seen over the course of this past season has been really remarkable. I think the job that Coach Fern and his staff have done to pull a team together that was reeling last summer after a really difficult time and a coaching departure, and have galvanized the team into a really tough team, a tough out in this league, and a team that competes day in and day out and clearly enjoys playing with each other. And so what it's also done is it's galvanized our fan base. Our fan base is excited at what they see, and they should be. It's been a lot of fun to come to Halton Arena to watch us play. It's been fun to watch us on TV when we're on the road, and here we are, a game out of first place in a very tough league, the American, our first season in a great conference, and it just added up to this made complete and total sense. Sometimes you make sure you don't outsmart yourself, right, and that this was the decision that felt right and is right, and so we're thrilled to have Aaron lead our program moving forward on a permanent basis, and just thrilled for him and for our team and for our fans.
Yeah, obviously, I really want to thank a lot of people to start with, Chancellor Gaber and obviously Mike and his team, and my family back in New Zealand and Australia, and just a lot of people that have helped along the way. I've been able to coach with some fantastic coaches over my career that I've obviously learned a lot from, and Coach Sanchez gave me an opportunity to come here, 5-6 years ago, and obviously very thankful to him too. And there's a lot of people that go into a journey, and I'm very grateful for them. But obviously, what about 8 months ago? Obviously, in the summer, it was a very difficult time. But as I said to the guys in the locker room yesterday, forever grateful to them. They're the ones that dug their heels in that first day, and definitely made it pretty clear that they wanted us to help lead them this year, and to have that support at that point was that's what it was. That's the real thing, and I'm really proud of what they've been able to do this season. Like Mike said, I'm more than anything, I'm happy that, and we are, that we've been able to get some wins and where we're at, but really the biggest joy that I've got out of it so far is just the energy that's in the building right now, and the support from the students and the community, and a lot of those fans that have been part of this program for a long time, and just, I guess they're reminiscing on the past, and bringing some old memories back, but also creating some new memories for the new supporter base here and the students. So that's what it's about. It's about an experience. It's about an experience for the players and the supporter base and the coaches and everybody involved, and very proud of that.
Aaron, Nick Carboni from WCNC, congratulations. I guess, what does a contract extension for 5 years do for you in the program, just having recruits know that you're going to be here for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, well, it brings some stability for sure. It will help us obviously recruit and retain, and we've obviously the landscape around college basketball or college athletics has really changed a lot in the last few years. So, having people out there in the community know what's going to be ahead for the next 5 years, and trying to build a support system to build our program is going to be really important. over time here we've been able to bring in some pretty talented, pretty good players, and some of them have unfortunately moved on to go do some things, but we've also been able to bring in some really talented guys, and just finding ways to build and know what the future ahead is.
Mike, what was the Langston works with the Charlotte Observer. Was there a moment that you had an epiphany and you said, "This is my guy"? Was it Fernville night? Was it, I don't know what it was, but was there a moment when you said, "It's him, and I don't need to, do a national search"?
Well, it's a great question, Langston. I think first what I would say is that it instantly felt right when we made the decision last summer to make him the head coach, and obviously it was in an interim basis at that point. But it did. It instantly felt right. Just his professionalism, his ability to keep the roster together. The rules are, and the rules we all get, but it makes it really tough when you lose a coach. Any one of those guys could have left after that decision by Coach Sanchez. And so we had a 30-day window, right? And they all stayed, and because they believed in him, and also because I think the sense of calm that he projected to them and to his staff, even though I'm sure inside he was not feeling calm. I
was not.
I don't think any of us were feeling calm in that stretch, because it was a really high-pressure situation and an unusual time. So that said, obviously we made the decision at that point to evaluate the season as it progressed, and we did not have in mind a certain point that we wanted to make the decision. Obviously, as you near the end of the season, you're going to have to make that call, right? But I think, we saw the sort of I keep describing the competitive disposition of this team, particularly in conference play. It became pretty clear to me and to our staff and to the chancellor that we had something special brewing. And, you kept waiting, right? You beat FAU, which was a huge win, our first ranked win, win over a ranked team in Halton in like 13 years. And so then you think, okay, is there going to be a letdown the next game? Well, because there could have been. There wasn't, right? You win that game, and then, you win again, right? And then you knock off North Texas, and you knock off UAB, and all of a sudden you realize these guys are bringing it every single game. On the road, down 20. To come back and we won 2 games in that stretch where we were down by 20. I don't advise it. I know Coach doesn't either. But the point is, you're down 20 and you fight back to beat a team on the road and then a really good UAB team here. That really speaks volumes. So I think we gained a sense pretty quickly in the conference schedule that this was going to be the right move. It was just a matter of when. And then for me, the ECU game was an absolutely special moment, I think, for our program. And for the fans who've been a part of this place for a long time, they know and they can recall when Halton was like that on a regular basis. But certainly for our students who haven't experienced that, they were absolutely electric, 3,000 of them in the building. I walked out of the building that day, and I'm like, yeah, this is done, right? And so sleep on it, to make sure you're not making an emotional decision, because in that moment it felt great. Slept on it again another night, and then met with the chancellor, and she agreed that now was the time. So that was the timeline, how it played out, and could not be more excited.
Coach, how much have you been recruiting so far? And now that you have the job permanently, what's your recruiting philosophy going to be moving forward? This team is more transfer portal, more high school kids, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, it's been evaluation right now, because obviously everybody can come back for next year. What do I like in a player? Well, I think it's what Mike's talking about. I want the guys to play hard and gritty and competitive and be really physical. And I don't care if you're a high school player or a senior. I don't. But those are the. You have to have a certain skill level and athleticism. This American Conference is very talented. We play against very talented teams every single night, and you got to have a level of talent and athleticism for sure at this level. But those just competitive spirit things will be big for me when I'm out there looking, and we as a staff too, and ultimately very good people. We've had had great people here and represented this university very well and represented this team, and that will continue.
I'm just curious, player reaction when you told them that you were the guy.
Yeah, they actually had a day off yesterday, and they got told yesterday that they had to come in for a meeting at 1:30, which they weren't happy about. And I kind of set them up a little bit because they thought someone was in trouble. But yeah, it was they were super excited. And like I said, I mean, obviously I'm very excited, and I might not show that, but you know, the guys were probably a little relieved too. You know, they've been sitting there too. Like, it's been difficult for them. Like, it's been difficult for the staff. It's been difficult for me and all the families involved. So there was probably some relief, but yeah, very excited. And I've said to a couple of people here, I'm just trying to get this behind me so we can go back and lock in to try and continue the season without, you know, this going on right now. But we got to go through this, and we'll get back on the practice floor this afternoon, and business as usual.
And so off that, in my mind, it's like interim tag is like you're dating. Now you're married. You're here for the next 5 years. What changes? You talk about recruiting to Langston. You talk about getting back on the practice court. What changes for you now that you are married to this job?
I don't know if there's a lot. I mean, we obviously, like I said, we need to build a support system around the program to retain and recruit. That's the landscape of college basketball. That has to happen. If we want to have legitimate, consistent talent out on the floor, it has to improve. So we're going to have to all work very hard in that space. System-wise, I mean, I like the way we play. Traditionally, this team plays the way that my teams in the past have played back in Australia, and so on and so forth. Probably my personality comes out in the group, and that's what every team that's how it works. I'm a fairly competitive, edgy, or want to get after it type person. And so we've had to try and bring that out of some guys in the group and be okay doing that, and be okay doing that and not getting across the line when the final second ticks off. But you know, like, those are the things that I just want to continue to do, and bring in talent and help them improve and reach their potential and go on and experience the game around the world. I think you can use the game as a vehicle to take you to different places, and because not all of them are going to be, you know, pros for a long time or so on and so forth, but they might get into coaching, or they might get into some avenue, or just simply the discipline of being an athlete can help you just into the real world, you know. And I want them to understand commitment and persevering through difficult times, and because we all go through that, and use sport as a learning tool that way.
Congratulations, Coach. I kind of want to go off your answer a little bit. You can't just fill stadiums by winning. It's the product you put on the floor, too, for these fans to enjoy. Can you just talk about the playing style you've instilled on this team and why you think it's worked so well with all the guys here?
I think this is what this community wants. I think this community wants a hard-playing, gritty, as I say, step to it mindset. You know, look, if you go out and play really hard and really competitive, and it's visible, and I do talk about this, you know, a lot with the guys, like, how do you want to be seen? Well, I think we're seen as a hard-playing, physical, don't back down, give it your best effort to the last second. Like, and that's, I never want to question that with our guys. But it's 3 levels of questioning. It's physical, emotional, mental, and them just giving their absolute best effort in those 3 areas, and you will be appreciated if you do that very well. And I think the guys have done a pretty good job of that to date. Obviously, we've got to continue to do that, and we'll have some massive challenges ahead. Yes, winning helps, but I think that the way that we go about playing, we've won a lot here in the last 5 years. Like, this building's seen a lot of wins against some pretty good teams. I think we've just been able to play a little different, and I think that's been very well appreciated.
And then following up with Mike, you guys are winning a lot, but people are camping out now for these games. Could you just talk about the environment that's around Halton and this basketball group, and how Coach Fearne has been like the figurehead of that?
It's been special. I've mentioned this in the past, that I've been very fortunate in my career to have experienced, big-time basketball environments. And I recall the ECU game just a couple of weeks ago, and I texted my son, who's back in Gainesville, Florida. He's going to school there, and I said, dude, I'm telling you right now, this is as good as anything I've ever seen. I mean, it was loud. I had people texting me from all over the country who were watching the game, and they said how loud it was on TV. Like, had to turn it down a little bit. It was so loud, So just that level of energy and excitement and enthusiasm we haven't had around the program. And we look back to when the journey started, and Coach Fern started here in the same year that I did 6 years ago. And you walk into a program that's had a very proud history, but was, as I've said, was in the desert. A 6-win team, had lost 15 out of 16 the previous season. Just a really tough situation. And so, we've taken steps, obviously, along the way, and have some really good players come through the program over the last, 5+ years. And I think what we're seeing now is the fruit of that labor. We're not done, and that's the best part. Is I love it when he says to his team in the locker room after every game, we want more. Our fans want more, right? Like our program believes it should be in the NCAA tournament on a regular basis, and we haven't been there in a very long time. And so this program has the pedigree. It deserves that. Our fans deserve that. And I think there's been a lot of pent-up emotion that we're hearing now in the building, from our fans who are so excited about what they see. And then couple that with an amazing student body who, has never seen it before because, they weren't born when the Niners were great at basketball. And they're like, this is awesome. And so they bring it, and they bring it to Fernville, and they bring it to the arena. And it's just a vibe around the program that we haven't seen here in a very long time.
Like, I'm sure adding to the angst this summer with the abrupt departure was the fact that you were entering a new league and how important that was. So how pivotal has it been to see what the men's basketball program has done with all that new exposure and attention for not just their program, but your entire athletics department?
It was critical for us and a major factor in the decision-making process last summer. We considered all factors at play, and the choices were, hire Coach Fern and have a chance to keep the team together. We didn't know for sure. The guys said, hey, we're going to stay and we want to play, but you don't really know, right? And or to hire from the outside and likely face a rebuild where you lose maybe 2/3 of your roster. And the portal is closed except for your guys leaving. So where do you get players? So we did not, and I did not want us to limp into the new conference with a league that has the kind of basketball brand that it has. And we felt like just the chance we had to have success was most likely if we could keep the guys together, and they wanted to play together. And they wanted to play for this man to my left and for that staff, and it shows. So yeah, it was absolutely critical in that process, and I think the decision's been validated. We made last summer for sure, and I feel confident that this decision to name Aaron as the permanent head coach will be validated as well, because this guy never rests. He's relentless. And I think our team, plays that way. Look, it's basketball. We're not going to win every game, right? There'll be a game you drop you didn't expect to drop, but win some games too that maybe no one thought you would. All I know is I'm sitting there this morning on a call with all the other ADs in this league, talking about different conference matters, and they're talking about how Charlotte is at the top of the league right now in basketball, and we were picked 13th out of 14, right? And so there's a lot of pride there. At the same vein, we got more basketball to play. It's not done yet. We're not finishing where we are. We've got more games to win.
Well, Coach, congratulations first and foremost. A couple months ago, when entering this role, you told me that you wanted everyone to buy into the product that you're putting out on the court. Well, not only have they done that, but they bought into you. What does it mean to you as you've seen that kind of come into fruition this season?
Well, I mean, I think you always set a plan on how you want your, and I said it before, like I'm big on this, like how do you want to be seen? Because there are a lot of people that don't really know me or the players, or that either come to a game here, or a lot of our students don't know some of our players, and or when we travel through airports or just generally in public or when we play away, and I want them to represent themselves as really good people. And then when we go to compete, you've got to bring out that competitive fire and be a different person, because some guys are wired for that, some are not. But collectively, we've got to go out there and keep saying it. Got to be really physical and edgy and just lay it out, man. Like, get after it. And because I will never question them. We can talk about execution stuff. We've got to be a little bit better here, and we've got to work on our shooting or whatever. But the effort stuff, I don't ever want to question that, from the players to our staff to coaches, like the work that goes into preparing for a game, and then obviously the guys going out to execute that. So that is the plan. Now you got to go execute that, and the guys have been awesome. I mean, I'm so proud of them and everybody involved, because it's hard. Like, winning's not easy. Like, winning is very, very difficult, and there's a lot that goes into it. I think losing's easy as heck. Just do nothing, and that's what you'll get. And but to win, when the other side of the line is trying to do the same thing, and the preparation that they put into it, and just like the last couple of games we've played, like, it's been hard to win, man. Like, and just think who we played. We played a top team and a team that's trying to establish themselves, but man, it felt the same. And we're trying to grow at the same time, and the growth that they've shown, and the support of each other, and what's my saying? It's amazing what can happen when no one takes the credit, right? And that's what we talk about a lot, and just have a lot of pride in doing it together. And how can you help someone have success and not worry about you? And when they play that way, they do some really good things, and that's what we've tried to go out to do, and the guys done a good job.
And then to follow up, Mike, obviously we've seen what Coach Fern has done on the court and what he's building here. What's the excitement as you continue to move forward in the AAC and just the future for this program?
Well, he's a great human, and I love the fact that we and our staff really appreciate and enjoy working with him and his staff to try to move this thing along, because in the end, when you have that kind of relationship and support and alignment, you have a real chance to go far. We do have a lot of work to do. We've talked about this. There are things we've got to get done here to protect our program, because the landscape has changed so dramatically in the last couple of years. And we've already seen, obviously, some evidence of the damage that can be done with the new rules, right? And so we've been working, hard together to figure that out, because, again, we have a shot here, right, to keep a lot of these guys moving forward. But just so much excitement, I think, for all of us to know that we're working with a really good person who's also an outstanding basketball coach and a great leader and a great representative of our university.
Coach, congratulations on the promotion. Is there a pitch that you have to potential athletes that are thinking about playing under you as Charlotte head coach?
Say that again.
Congratulations on the promotion. Is there a pitch to potential athletes that are thinking about playing under you as head basketball coach at Charlotte?
I mean, not really. Like, I want, like, potential players, what we have, like, just look what we do, like, look, what do you see, all right? And if you want to be part of that, well, we can talk, like, and like I said before, like, it's going to take certain players to be able to play for me in this program. Like, I've coached at a pretty high level and coached some special players, and it takes a certain person and player to play for me the way that I guess I'm wired and the way I do what I do. Because we're all different as coaches. It just takes different types of personalities to play for us. So, you'll have to tick certain boxes athletically and so on and so forth, and then obviously just you as a person. Because I was the same in Australia. Like, it took me forever to make decisions on imports and stuff like that. I dig very deep into what you're about, and they're all obviously not, finished products at that point, and they got some growth continuing to do. And look, I think I've coached guys that are in their late 30s, playing basketball, and I still expect them to continue to grow. You never arrive, and when you feel like you're a little bit there, then you're probably done. And so we talk about that here a lot too. We've done some good things, but what have we really achieved? So we've got to keep fighting for that. But it'll just take a certain person, and do they like what we're about? And some players will like that, and some players will not. And but that's okay.
Coach, you're very big on giving the guys credit for stuff that you've done. Is there any player or position group that's made your job a little easier?
No, I mean, you need talent in every position, and the biggest thing for me is just the growth that so many of them made. I mean, and I'm not going to talk about individuals because it's not about that, but some guys had to get in really good shape, and some guys had to get stronger, and some guys had to improve their shooting and decision making, and some guys have struggled early on in the year and have found a way to come out the other side and start playing very well, and some guys will take dips midway through the season. Like, that's just the way the game goes. But I'm very proud of it's been a distraction. There's no doubt about that. Like, until last week, didn't know what was going on. But we can't control that. And I've been part of, 4 or 5 contract negotiations over my life at a pretty high level, and I can't control the decision that he's going to make, and his team. Like, all I can control is how we're going to come to practice tomorrow, and are we going to set a ball screen the right way and pass out of it, and that's all I can control. And the individual guys just trying to grow and help them manage the pressures of performing, because there is pressure to perform and there's expectation there, and they struggle with it. Some guys struggle with the hard times, and some really struggle with the successes. So that's all I've just tried to pour into, is just trying to help them grow in that space and control what I can control. And the effort is the big thing for me, because I think if you do that and you work extremely hard, then you'll have some success. You'll get some results. And like Mike said, you're not going to get the results all the time. There are some games we've dropped that we hoped we hadn't. Yep. But there's also some games we've probably been lucky we won, and we have. That's just the way it goes. It always balances out somehow. And we get what we get at the end. But we'll just keep working. And that's what we just have to keep leaning on.
Mike, we're in the NIL era now, as you know. You're trying to elevate your basketball program and trying to elevate your football program. Can you talk about plans, if any, Charlotte's making to elevate his NIL?
Sure. We've been working pretty feverishly on it since before basketball season even, because we knew that regardless of how the season went, and no matter what the decision was, when it was time to make a coaching decision that you got to have something in place. And so, there are a lot of different twists and turns that NIL has taken in our enterprise over the last 18 months. We're waiting on another ruling that may change it again. I think we probably hear about that court case this week. But the bottom line is, no matter what the mechanism is, whether it's a collective, whether it's an exchange, the Niner exchange, which we have in place, whatever the mechanism is, what it takes is people who are willing to financially support it. And it has to be at a significant level, right? To compete at the level we want to compete at in this league, you appreciate every dollar you can get to apply towards NIL, but it takes significant contributions by major supporters of the program to make it work. And so, and Aaron and I are in lockstep on this, along with our staff. We've got a lot of stuff in the works right now that we expect to deliver what we need to not only retain what we have, but also to add to what we have.
Aaron, you sound like a guy who really loves basketball, and I hear it in you, and I see it. When did you fall in love with the game?
I was actually messaging with him today. When I grew up in New Zealand and played for a high school coach that was an American, Angelo Hill. Actually played at Washington State, where DJ's from. And he was tough, bro. Like, he was very, very demanding. But I like that. Like, I like that. And he gave me an opportunity to understand what the game is and how hard it is to win and have success. And then we had a coach in my hometown in New Zealand, Coach McKean, who's not with us anymore, but he gave me the opportunity to come here to the US and play high school and college basketball. So those two have been unbelievably instrumental in me loving the game. Obviously, your family support is obviously hugely important. I've got a wife that coaches. I've got a son on the team. I've got a daughter that plays at Bowling Green. Like, we're a basketball family. That's all we talk about, which sometimes is draining, because that's all we do talk about. But, and I've got a daughter there that messages after every game and says, well, Dad, you weren't very good here and got to be better here, and, and so on and so forth. My wife, Amy's understood not to talk to me about that type of stuff. But look, I do love the game. I had an opportunity to play professionally in Australia for a couple of years, but then, Coach Guy Malloy, who was coaching me at the time, ultimately, from a coaching perspective, asked me if I would be interested in getting into the coaching world. And he and I are still very close to this day, and we talk all the time, because you always need someone to talk to, when things aren't going well, or you just need to bounce ideas off each other. But, they've been unbelievably instrumental, and I love the game, am I obsessed with it, like some people can get to? Like, I'm not sure if I'm at that level. I do love it, and I do have an ability to definitely disconnect when I need to, because I think that's important. But as I said earlier, the game has taken me around the world. It's been an unbelievable vehicle for me, and been very thankful and grateful to a lot of people that have opened a lot of doors for me in that world. And here we are today, so let's keep it rolling.
Mike used that four-letter word earlier, NCAA, and Charlotte hasn't been there in a long time. You talked about how hard it is to win. How much pressure do you put on yourself to win, and how much pressure are you putting on yourself to get Charlotte to a level where it can get into the NCAA tournament, not once, maybe twice?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really even think about that. Those are long-term goals. We all want to get there. We all know that. I don't need to talk about it. We know that. I'm very short-term. That's how I operate. I'm more worried about what we're doing at 2:30 this afternoon than, trying to do this or trying to do that. It's hard enough as it is. Let's just worry about the little things. And if you do the little things really well, and you do them consistently really well with unbelievable competitive spirit, well, I think you'll put yourself in a good position to have some success. And I think that's how you got to look at it. If you look down the track like that, then I think you're distracted. That was asked last press conference when Igor was here, and he answered the same way. We don't really talk about that type of thing. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, how do you media people really know how good teams are? You don't. Like, the portal changes the team so much every single year. You don't know. Like, you're guessing. Like, and so are we. Like, I don't know who we're playing against. Like, I don't know if any coach does. Like, it changes so much, and you just, if you're worried about those things, it makes it distracting. And just lock into your team. Like, just lock into the guys getting better individually and our system getting better, and we'll make mistakes and we'll grow from it. And if we do that at a consistent level and just lock into that little stuff, be present right now. And it's worry about practice today and the next opposition who we have on Thursday, and you do that stuff really well, then I think you'll put yourself in a position to get to what you're asking me right now.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Hill. That concludes today's press conference.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.